Ooh, what's good, Commanders fans? Today's episode is brought to you by Aura. Make sure you guys check them out. The link is down below in the description. But I wanted to break down or talk about my 53 man roster projection after the Jets game. I'm gonna do this after the Dolphins game as well, and then of course after the Patriots game, predicting the 53 man roster, and then after the Dolphins game, I'm gonna try to do the practice squad as well, and then after the Patriots game, I'm gonna try to do the practice squad as well with the 53 man roster. So let's start with the quarterbacks. I got, of course, Jaden Daniels, and I got Marcus Mariota making the roster. I do have only two quarterbacks. Sam Hartman, Jeff Driscoll, like I could see them keeping three, but I think they're going to only keep two quarterbacks because they may want to keep 7 receivers or 4 running backs or 4 tight ends or 10 offensive linemen or whatever, 10 defensive linemen. They want to open up another spot on the team. So I think that's kind of where they will cut Jeff Driscoll and Sam Hartman. Sam Hartman was most likely going to be on the practice squad anyway. If he doesn't make the roster or the practice squad, he does have the UFL team. Is there a chance he may be picked up by somebody else? Possibly, since he was a high priority UDFA. We did see that guy from Colorado, the quarterback who struggled here. I know you guys remember his name. I'm blanking on the guy's name, but he got picked up by the Lions, and he was claimed by another team. So it does happen. I think every year we go through this. Every time I think, I'm not gonna say I think, but I'm like, somebody gets released or somebody doesn't make the roster. I'm like, oh man, dang, it's tough, And then next thing you know, we get him back in the practice squad. So that usually happens all the time. That may happen with Sam Hartman. Now, Jeff Driscoll, on the other hand, who has played in the NFL for a good amount of years, has been on a couple teams, was with the Lions back in 2019. He may be poached by another team. It's possible. Now, they both had good games against the Jets. I like Sam Hartman on that 3rd and 9 where he scrambled for a first down. I like the 2nd and 15 pass to Luke McCaffrey for a first down. So I like some of the things that Sam Hartman did. And Cliff Kingsbury used him in a read option pitch to Michael Wiley. So I do like his mobility. And then Jeff Driscoll's another dual threat quarterback that can move too. There was a design run for Jeff Driscoll too. Then he had a nice pass to Ben Sinnott for a 44-yard pass, which was mostly Ben Sinnott, but still Jeff Driscoll did the right thing to get him the football. So I do like both of these guys as backups or third-string guys, but I would just keep two, Jaden Daniels and Marcus Mariota. Now, Marcus Mariota didn't look good in the preseason game. I know it was only 2 snaps. He botched the snap or it was a bad snap, but I'm not going to ding him off of just those 2 snaps. I'm not going to do that, but if they pick Jeff Driscoll over Marcus Mariota, that would be a surprise, but I wouldn't mind it. It's not like I would be upset over that, but I think most likely it's going to be Jaden Daniels and Marcus Mariota. All right, moving on to running backs. I got B-Rob, Austin Eckler, Jeremy McNichols, and I got Michael Wiley making the roster. So I got them keeping 4. If you look at San Fran, they kept 4 running backs last year. Now, I know it's different, but Adam Peters was a part of that. Of course, they're going to keep B-Rob. Of course, they're going to have Eckler on the roster. Jeremy McNichols is kind of a wild card, but they brought him in here for a reason. The odd man out to me is Chris Rodriguez. Now, Chris Rodriguez is a good player. Maybe he steps up and has a better game against the Dolphins and a good game against the Patriots. But Michael Wiley just adds something different. He adds a different dynamic where I think he has more explosiveness. I think he's faster. He's quicker. He can catch the ball in the backfield too, which we haven't seen much from Chris Rodriguez. Chris Rodriguez has a little bit of a fumbling problem. They didn't draft Chris Rodriguez. So I think Jeremy McNichols makes it because they signed him. He's their guy. And then Michael Wiley is another guy who's their guy that they brought in as a UDFA. And I think he makes it because he played really well. I think he's going to play really well again against the Dolphins in that Patriots game where he probably will get the start or the bulk of the carries in that 3rd game. Really him between Chris Rodriguez. I think he's going to show out again. And I like his explosiveness, and I like that he can catch the ball in the backfield. He just brings a different dynamic because B-Rob is a power guy. Eckler, of course, is a guy that can catch. He's like another wide receiver out there too. But Wiley and McNichols, they add different dynamics to the team that Chris Rodriguez does not. And Chris Rodriguez is more redundant of what B-Rob is. All right, let's get to the receivers. Before we get to the receivers, let's get a quick word from
Let's talk about today's sponsor, Aura. One of the reasons that I get so many spam texts and calls is because big companies cannot keep our data safe. There's so many data breaches, and I get so many spam calls trying to sell me a home warranty or life insurance or a car warranty or getting me to sell my house. It's because big companies can't keep our data safe. Aura is able to do that. Recently, Ticketmaster was hacked and the data of 560 million users were put up for sale on the dark web. That's crazy. I mean, we use Ticketmaster all the time to buy tickets to Commanders games, Wizards games, concert tickets, you name it. So we're using Ticketmaster, websites like that all the time. The data stolen includes full names, addresses, email addresses, phone numbers, and credit card data as well. At best, this is going to lead to so much more spam. At worst, fraud. So what is Ticketmaster going to do about it? Nothing. They said they didn't think the hack would have a material impact on overall business. It's ridiculous. All these businesses happily collect our data, but they have nothing to protect it. That's why I use Aura, the sponsor of today's video. Aura alerts me when my data has been part of a data breach or leaked on the dark web. It gives me fast fraud alerts when anyone tries to use that data to access my credit cards or bank accounts. Make sure you guys try Aura. There's a 2-week trial for free. Make sure, guys, it works out for you guys. I know it will. You can use my link. It's aura.com/edoliver. Use the link down below in the description. Make sure you guys check out Aura. There's so many scammers out here trying to get your information, and Aura helps block that from happening. So make sure you guys check out the link down below in the description, aura.com/edoliver. Start off with a 2-week trial for free and get it going. Thanks for listening.
Shout out to Aura. Now for the receivers, I have Terry, Jahan, De'Ami Brown, Olamide Zaccheaus, Luke McCaffrey, and Jamison Crowder. Now, Jamison Crowder didn't return any punts in the game against the Jets, but I still think he's the best punt returner on the team. I do like what Olamide did, but that 19-yard punt return does not make me be like, oh my gosh, he's above Jamison Crowder. That's just me. He did look fluid catching the punt, but Jamison Crowder has done it for years, and I still would go with him. The guy who almost got a touchdown last year. He did get tracked down against the Falcons, but I would still go with Jamison Crowder. I feel like he's more elusive. And Olamide did look good, though. He did look good returning that punt, though. But it's only one. I need to see more. Of course, Kaz Allen does not make it. Mitchell Tinsley, I don't have him making it this year. Bryson Tremaine, I don't have him making it this year. I do have those guys on the practice squad. Kaz Allen, I don't have him on the practice squad. And then Byron Pringle, I don't have him making it, even though they brought him in to be a kick returner. I do not have him on the roster. Other guy, Davion Davis is a punt returner. I don't have him on the roster. He was on the practice squad last year. I can see him on the practice squad again. And that's really it. Let me see if I'm forgetting anybody else on the roster. Like I said, I already got Luke on there and Olamide. So those are the 6 guys. I know a lot of people are down on Jahan Dotson. De'Ami Brown solidified his spot on the team, and he might fool around be wide receiver number 2 at this point. He really might be. It just depends on the connection with Jaden Daniels. Does he have more of a connection with Jaden Daniels than Jahan Dotson at this point? It kind of sounds like it in practice, and it looked like that in the game too. Now, it was only one series, so you can't take too much from that one series, but that was a nice connection there from Jaden to De'Ami Brown. And I love the confidence that De'Ami's playing with. That was a big catch from him. That was a big catch. It was not a wide open catch like he was covered and all that. That was a beautiful catch by De'Ami Brown. Jahan Dotson, he's not on the bubble, guys. I know a lot of people are overreacting because he played in the second quarter, but he's not on the bubble in my opinion. He's a super, super talented receiver. 7 touchdowns does not grow on trees. I get it. It was 2 years ago now, but I still think he's that talented guy. I still think he is. I still think he's that guy or can be that guy. Not a good number 2, not a number 1, a good number 2, a good number 3 receiver. All right, tight ends, Ben Sinnott, Zach Ertz, John Bates, Cole Turner. I put Cole Turner on the roster because that block he had for the touchdown run for Jaden Daniels, he's showing that he's trying to be a better blocker. Will he ever become a good receiving tight end? Probably. Well, I'm not going to say probably not, but let's see if he gets a chance here with the Cliff Kingsbury offense and Jaden Daniels getting him the football. We'll see. But he is the last on the totem pole in the tight end room. John Bates is going to make it because he can block. Turner's going to make it. I got him making it. Zach Ertz, of course, and then Ben Sinnott, of course. But I got Cole Turner making it. All right, offensive linemen, Brandon Coleman, Cornelius Lucas, Andrew Wiley, Trent Scott, Tyler Biadasz, Nick Allegretti, Sam Cosmi, Chris Paul, and Michael Dieter. I guess the only wild card here is Mason Brooks, Ricky Stromberg as well. I got Mason Brooks on the practice squad again. Ricky Stromberg on the practice squad as well. Braden Daniels did look good the other day, blocking for Michael Wiley for the touchdown, but I don't have him making the roster. And then Alex Taylor, who changed his first name, I think, I don't have him making the roster either. But those are basically the normal guys like Tyler Biotis, Nick Allegretti, Sam Cosmi, Andrew Wiley, Brandon Coleman, Cornelius Lucas, Chris Paul, Michael Dieter, Julian Good-Jones. I don't have him making it. He's been botching snaps in practice, so I don't have him making the roster. All right, so moving on to the defense. I had 25 on offense, 25 on defense. Defensive line, I have Dorrance Armstrong, Cleveland Farrell, Dante Fowler, KJ Henry, John Allen, Deron Payne, Johnny Newton, Jerzon Johnny Newton, Fedarian Mathis. I have him making the roster, even though someone is on the bubble, and he's a guy that they did not draft, and he's another second-round pick that has not lived up to the draft status. I have John Ridgway, who has familiarity with Dan Quinn and Joey Jr. in Dallas, even though he was released by those guys. And it's really between Javonte Jean-Baptiste and Jamin Davis. Jamin Davis strictly played edge in the preseason game. So if I had to go between the two, I might go with Javonte Jean-Baptiste. That's the one I've really been going back and forth with. Right now, I may go with Javonte Jean-Baptiste. Even though Jamin Davis didn't have a bad game, I think they may go over with draft status over Jamin Davis at this point. They have not played him at linebacker. They did not play him at linebacker at all. Linebackers pretty easy, cut and dry. Frankie Louvu, Bobby Wagner, Jordan McGee, Michael Pittman. Those are the linebackers I got making the roster. The only guys who kind of like Bo Bowers, he got beat on the play pretty badly. Kind of looked like David Mayo on that crossing route. Michael Walker, I don't have him on the roster. I have him being released. And those are the only really linebackers. Keandre Jones, I have him being released as well. And those are the only linebackers that really are kind of like competing to make the roster. Corners, I have Ben St. Juice, Michael Davis, Emmanuel Forbes, Mikey Sanders, still Noah I. They may sign somebody before the first game of the season. They've done that the past couple of years. I know it's a previous regime, but teams always do that. Tyreek Castro-Fields was a tough one, man. He's had a really good camp. I don't have him making the roster. James Pierre, I don't have him making the roster. Chiggy, I have him on the practice squad. Caillou Blue Kelly, I can see him on the practice squad. Tyreek Castro-Fields, like I said, he's been playing well. And we probably do need to sign another guy. I think we need depth at that position, and we just have guys that are unproven or have been really, really up and down. Michael Davis has been up and down his career. Ben St. Juice up and down, and Emmanuel Forbes has struggled so far. He struggled in his rookie year, and he's kind of been up and down in preseason so far as well, giving up the touchdown to third string quarterback and a third string receiver. All right, safety. This is a tough one too. Jeremy Chin, Quan Martin, Derek Forrest, Jeremy Reeves, the All-Pro, and then Percy Butler. So that's 5 guys right there. And then really at the end, it's really between Dominique Hampton and Tyler Owens. Now, I know a lot of people are kind of speculating that Derek Forrest may not make the roster. That might be the surprise cut or kind of not a surprise at all at this point with the injury. He's back in practice now, but running with third-string guys and whatnot. But Dominique Hampton versus Tyler Owens. Dominique Hampton was a draft pick. Do they go with the draft pick over Tyler Owens, who's been balling in practice, had a good tackle on special teams in the game? That's something that we have to monitor these next 2 preseason games. So it's really between Dominique Hampton and Tyler Owens. I'm going with Dominique Hampton at this point, but Tyler Owens is definitely knocking on the door, and he will make the practice squad at the minimum. At the least, he'll make the practice squad. Special teams is a question mark for me. Tressway, All-Pro Bowler Tressway, who's out there making tackles. Tyler Ott, and a long snapper, should be a lot better than Cameron Cheeseman. Cut the cheese. And then I put a question mark because both guys have struggled at this point. Ramiz Ahmed and Riley Patterson, we don't know what we're going to get from those guys. We know we're going to get inconsistency. Riley Patterson missed a 39, 40-yard kick, and then in practice the other day, they both went like 2 for 5, 3 for 5. So most likely it's going to be a guy that we don't have on a roster right now before the season starts. All right, you guys let me know what you guys think. I think the biggest competition right now is Dominique Hampton and Tyler Owens. Jamin Davis versus Javonte Jean-Baptiste at the edge rusher spot. And then really Michael Wiley and Chris Rodriguez at this point right now. And then that's really it for me right now for the battles. And then Noah I, who they like as a returner, a kick returner, was with Dallas before, versus Tyreek Castro-Fields and maybe James Pierre. But all right, you guys let me know what you guys think. Hail Commanders. Peace.